Are you jealous of her past sex partners? Here's what you want to do. Hey guys, I'm Stephanie Gnowski, sexologist and sex coach for men, and I help men with their dick-related issues and also their sex communication issues with their female partners. If you've ever been jealous of your woman's past sexual history, you need to get over it. No, I'm just kidding. This is common. You know, a lot of people do have a natural jealous tendency. It's even a sign of health. If you're a little jealous, you know, it means there's a sense of caring, right? But when it's getting in the way of your relationship, or when it's crowding your mind in terms of like, oh my God, I keep thinking about this and I know it's not good for me, it's not good for her, then you want to ask yourself, where the heck is this coming from? And do I need to hold on to it? And you know, it was interesting because I put a poll up on Instagram. If you're not following me, I'm at Steph Gnowski on Instagram. And I polled my audience, which are 97% men. And I said, hey, have you ever been jealous of your female partner's past sexual history? And the options were no way, or yeah, a little bit if she mentions it. And then the last option was yes, definitely. I think 60% of those polls were men being like, no, not at all. And that's in the past. You know, the past is the past. And the rest were either jealous or they're jealous if it was brought up. And I had a few guys reach out to me, and one guy reached out and he said, hey, where's the option for if I'm grateful that she had past partners? Because she got to learn and she got to have experiences before me that made our relationship better and our sex life better. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. I wish I worded it like that. And that's a great way to think of it. So if there's any jealousy or there's any like, oh man, I wish she wasn't with other people, think about how important it is for us to have sexual relationships with others. Not that we need to, but the importance of us having different life experiences so that we can feel, you know, we've had variety in life. Having that variety and learning and understanding what we like, what we don't, getting better and better at being able to talk about sex with a partner, you know, being able to speak up for our needs, to understand our body and our wants. That's a great thing, you know, and to have multiple partners along the way to teach us and help reinforce us teaching ourselves these things, that's great. That's a great thing. And then we get to our partner we end up with, and maybe, you know, we've learned so much and we're so much better at communicating and you know, maybe we even like sharing stories of our past. And there was another guy who reached out to me and he said, I don't want to say I'm jealous, but I do always have it in my head that my wife had her best sexual experience or the most sexual chemistry with a past lover of hers. It wasn't me. And she always said how he was the best. And first, I want to remind if there's any women watching, and also you guys, don't tell your partner this shit. Like, don't do it. It's unnecessary. You don't have to do that. Now it's in his head, right? And poor guy, it's in his head. So how do you like get that out? And how do you get over that? The male ego is pretty fragile in that way. Even the most confident versions of us will hit pretty hard, right? Something you could do if you're in that situation is try to give her more unique experiences. Maybe do things with her that she's never done, right? Like create new memories where maybe you won't ever have the chemistry that she had with this other guy. And that happens too. You know, like that's a normal human thing where we have crazy sexual chemistry with people who we don't end up with for life, but we think like, oh, that was the craziest chemistry I've ever had. But you know, that's in the past. That's with someone else. So you can't get it in your head where it's like, I have to be the best she's ever had because we're life partners. You know, sometimes it's just your life partner because you fill so many buckets. And overall, you're the most compatible, but maybe not the most heightened sexual chemistry. And that's like, yeah, it hurts like to think about, but that's a human experience. And you got to work with it. You got to think, okay, what do I have going for me in this case if I don't have the most heightened sexual chemistry with her? What can I do? You can help her explore things she's never tried, maybe use new toys, maybe go to a sex club if she's never been to one, have sexual experiences with her that are very loving and romantic, and learn how to do that, learn how to approach that type of situation. Also ask her questions and try different things and have many opportunities to try different things because you're her husband. I think if you could be happy for your wife in this case, that she had a great, amazing chemistry experience and you could do your best to enjoy sex with her as much as you can, then you can live in the moment with her instead of getting stuck in your head about this thing. I get the jealousy. A third situation is a man who said his wife used to give blowjobs, but not since being with him. because she decided she didn't like him. And he always held this sort of resentment towards her because he never got blowjobs and he knows that she did it in the past. So it's like so taunting. And I told him, it's like, it's not fair to expect that from her, because if she went through experiences and she learned, right? We learn through our past experiences, and with all of our partners, we learn. So she learned she doesn't like blowjobs, and she's totally okay with learning that. And there's nothing wrong. She does not have to give blowjobs for the rest of her life or to her husband just because, he wants them. She learned with past partners she doesn't like it. So that's really something he has to respect and he has to learn to live with. And something that's interesting, though, is a lot of people who get married don't ask these questions early on enough. And they get married not knowing who they're marrying in terms of sexual interest and likes and dislikes. And then you get married and you get into the whole sex routine, and then you realize, wow, we're not compatible and you don't want to ever give me this. Oh my God, this is so important to me. But if it's important to you, you speak up before you make a commitment, because this literally can break marriages, So it's really interesting to see how many clients I've had over and over and over who tell me, oh, well, my wife won't do this in bed. And I'll say, has she ever? And they'll be like, no. I'm like, how can you expect her to do it? Like she's not just expected to change for you just because all of a sudden you want something, and she was never that type of woman who wanted that. It's tricky because sometimes you grow together in trying new things and experimenting and just doing it for the sake of sacrificing for your partner. And other people are like, no, like this is who I am. You know who I am. I don't do that. And I never liked doing that. So why would I do it now? That's always interesting to me. The person who has a sudden urge to start doing something new and their partner's not keeping up with them in that way. And it's like, oh man, this can literally break the relationship. Just know that jealousy overall in general is normal. It's actually considered healthy, a small amount of jealousy here and there. Of course, not all the time, and when you're not fixated on it. If you are fixated, you definitely want to understand why, and you want to be able to either talk to your partner, talk to a friend or therapist or coach so that you can get it out of your head, stop fixating on it, and find another way to look at it. Find a way to change your story around it. That is it for this video. If you haven't tried out my sex meditations yet, find it in the link in the description of this video.